Welcome to ADD Sports. I'm Alex.
I'm Danny.
And I'm Dave.
And today we're going to be covering a variety of segments, but the first segment is who would we choose as our starting franchise quarterback under 30? Dave, who would you choose?
Wow. It's a pretty good question because it's almost like there's no wrong answer here. The AFC right now is loaded. There's really not much going in the NFC in the way of young quarterbacks. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure it was unanimously Patrick Mahomes the last 3 years, with the MVP, the Super Bowl, getting back to the Super Bowl, going 15-1 last year. A rocky season this year that kind of damaged it a little bit, but still got to the playoffs. Everybody expected right when they got there. Easy path to the Super Bowl. Until Joe Burrow, for the second time in a row, comes from behind, embarrasses Patrick Mahomes in his home stadium. I mean, it's one thing to blow an 18-point lead in the conference championship game. Even Tom Brady's done that to Peyton Manning, but to do it at home, that's a whole other thing. So Joe Burrow showed that he's probably the second best young quarterback today because Josh Allen is the best young quarterback. If I was starting a franchise right now, I would take Josh Allen 1, Burrow 2, Mahomes 3. What about you, Danny?
Wow, Dave, that is certainly a 360 from your pre-draft Josh Allen analysis there.
It is. I was completely wrong on Josh Allen.
As were we all.
I had a chance to see Josh Allen live this year, and if he didn't run like a maniac, I think the Bills, I don't think they would have had much of a shot against the Bucs. He kind of kept them in it there. My best young quarterback is a guy that Day also touched on a little bit, and that is Patrick Mahomes. The reasons why I believe Patrick Mahomes is probably the best great young quarterback below the age of 30 years old is he's got a really strong arm. He seems to make his receivers better, and he has a great haircut. I mean, I think he spends $10,000 each time he goes to the barber shop from what I saw on an ESPN report. But I think Patrick Mahomes is very talented. I think it really opens up the playbook from a perspective that it gives Andy Reid a variety of different things he can call, keeps defenses on their toes because of some of the no-look passes and different things Patrick can do. And I think that if I was going to start a franchise, Mahomes would have to be my guy.
Now, Alex, before you go on that, I just want to ask, Mahomes has a strong arm. Whose arm is stronger, Mahomes or Josh Allen's?
I'd probably have to go with Josh Allen.
It's already been proven. They did the throwing competition. Josh Allen's arm's stronger. He makes his receivers better. What happened when Stephon Diggs went to Buffalo? Did he not get a lot better, become one of the best receivers in the league? Cole Beasley's become one of the best receivers. Gabriel Davis has had a great game. Opens up the playbook. What did you say that Mahomes can do that Josh Allen can't? The only advantage is Mahomes has got Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy when Josh Allen's got a defensive-minded coach and a coordinator no one really knows about. Josh Allen's got a heap of an offensive line where Mahomes has had one of the best in the league. And when he didn't have one of the best in the leagues, i.e. in the Super Bowl when he had an injured left tackle, how spectacularly did he play?
Whose receivers did Josh Allen have in his first couple of years? He only had Diggs, right?
Diggs just came last year.
Yeah, Diggs was just in the 2021 year, but the
2020 and 2021.
one thing that I mentioned that Josh Allen certainly is way below the line on is he certainly does not have the haircut. I mean, that haircut is big time out of Mahomes.
But he also doesn't have the brother and fiance.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. So, Alex, why don't you give us your pick for the best young quarterback?
Well, for my best young quarterback, both you guys made very valid points. And I like Dave's analysis and picks on his young quarterbacks. But I will have to take Justin Herbert as my young quarterback to build my franchise around.
Talk about a 180 from that draft coverage. Now, how about someone that was completely right on their draft coverage?
I mean, I always thought Justin Herbert would be the better of that draft class, but
It's hard to say now with Joe Burrow.
True.
But talent-wise, he is the best.
Talent-wise, intangible-wise, I think Justin Herbert has arm strength, the decision-making. And if you take Justin Herbert off of his team and put another quarterback, I don't think the Chargers would have done what they did this year. He doesn't have the top talent receivers like Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't have the Tyreek he doesn't have a Devontae Adams. He's doing it with Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, which are not bad receivers in their regards.
Terrible offensive line, though.
And they have a terrible offensive line. But the quarterback I'd take, other than Herbert, top three is Herbert, Burrow, and Allen.
Yeah,
And I was completely wrong about Allen as well.
I think it's funny that I saw more from Josh Allen in a loss than I did from other guys in a win, because it was in that loss where I'm like, man, fourth down, Allen just hitting it, big plays, touchdowns, a 2-point conversion, and then it's like, all right, Mahomes' chance to answer is, a little slant to Tyreek Hill, and he just runs 60 yards past everybody. I'm like, if Josh Allen had a Tyreek Hill, this would be a much different game. So, I mean, you can't go wrong. I mean, I don't think any franchise, if you're starting one and you took either of these guys or Joe Burrow, as one of those four, I don't think your franchise is going to be suffering at all in the next decade. So,
Joe Burrow is one of the young quarterbacks that took his team to the Super Bowl so far. It's only his second year.
Joe Burrow is certainly an honorable mention for one of the best young quarterbacks, and he seems to just be getting better and better. I mean, I think all three of us would probably agree that our analysis of Burrow, I mean, he has a legitimate argument at being the best young quarterback below the age of 30 based on, with his playoff run, his current playoff run.
If you compare him to anybody, it's Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree on that one. Are there any other, under-the-radar quarterbacks guys would choose?
I mean, Kyler Murray, I could see him being a lot like Russell Wilson in a way, but he's so inconsistent. Trevor Lawrence, we don't really know because you're stuck on the Jaguars. It's going to be hard to see any good come from that situation. Right now, I can't think of any others outside, those 4 or 5 that are really, looking like the guys that would carry a franchise today.
Yeah, I mean, I think it wouldn't be my pick, but I think Lamar Jackson's interesting in that he's one of the best dual threats I've ever seen. I mean, right up there with
no doubt.
Vic and some of these people, but I'm not sure he'd be my pick. But I do think he's very good at what he does. But he's not as traditional of a pocket passer as some of the guys we had mentioned.
That is true. It's very true. I would have liked to maybe see Baker Mayfield higher on our franchise list, but his years have been inconsistent at best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, it was promising after 2020, but this year it's been a pretty big disappointment for Baker Mayfield and the Browns.
Well, thank you for watching this segment of ADD Sports. I'm Alex.
I'm Day.
I'm Danny.
And go check out our next segment about our Pro Bowl snubs.